Hey familia, Miranda here, and welcome to another episode of First Viewing, where I share my thoughts and recommendations with you guys on films that I watched for the very first time. So as you can see from the thumbnail, I do have quite a bit to get through today, so we are going to just go on ahead and dive on into things. All right, you guys, so first up, we have this film here, The Last Castle with Robert Redford, rest in peace. You guys, this film I'd heard a lot of great things on, and I'll be honest, I cannot remember the last time that a film like truly just wowed me. I was just kind of blown away by this film, you guys. This film is absolutely freaking amazing. Robert Redford is brilliant in here, and it's not your typical like prison flick, you know. It's not about, you know, the inmates going against each other and all that kind of stuff. It is far from that, but this film does take place in prison. It's kind of a prison that they kind of call the castle or whatever. But basically, you do have a lot of, you know, people from like, you know, the military, the Navy, the Marines, you know, all that kind of stuff that they are put away in this prison. So it's like a special kind of prison in a sense. You have Gandolfini at the head of things. He's the, you know, the warden or whatever you want to call him. I guess in here he's like a colonel or colonel. I don't know. But anywho, uh, he was evil, you guys. He was evil. Like, he was evil without truly giving off the presence of being like a evil person or whatever, if that makes any sense. But I enjoyed him in here. It was kind of something a little different for him. But Robert Redford, just the way he spoke in this film and everything was just so freaking amazing, you guys. Like, all the performances in here. You do have Mark Ruffalo in here, Delroy Lindo's in here for, you know, a few scenes, not like anything huge or anything. You have Clifton Collins Jr. in here, which I did not know he was in this one. But seriously, guys, this is just a so well put together film. You know, Robert Redford's character, he basically rallies together all the inmates and they do this whole like prison uprising and take over the prison kind of thing, and it's just freaking awesome, you guys. So I highly recommend this one if you have not seen it. I mean, just for the performances alone, like I said, just the way Robert Redford just speaks in this film, like, I don't know, it just really kind of like hits you, like you really feel like inspired by his character in this film. So yeah, but really fantastic watch. If you have not, you need to check it out because I truly was wowed by this film. All right, next up we have Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. I mean, what can I say on this film, you guys? Like, honestly, it was actually a lot better than I expected, but it's still gonna be probably a one and done for me. I mean, I definitely had fun with it. It's definitely cheesy, as you can tell by the title of the film. You basically have Abraham Lincoln in here, in his early days, you know, like as a kid growing up, you kind of see all that. And how he basically becomes, you know, the president and whatnot. But yeah, it's definitely cheesy fun. Obviously, he's taking on these, you know, vampires and stuff. It's kind of in a sense, a revenge flick, if you will, because they, you know, vampire took his mother, and so he's out to get that specific vampire and whatnot, and that's just kind of what he starts doing, is hunting vampires and stuff. So, but yes, it's cheesy fun, you guys. Some decent gore, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. It was definitely a little bit better, but again, I don't know that I would watch it again. It was just a fun one-time watch for me. All right, next up we have Embattled. So I actually really enjoyed this one. Steven Dorff, oh my gosh, you guys, his character was so freaking unlikable. I just hated him the whole time through the movie. But this was a really good one. It does have to do with MMA, though you don't really get a whole lot, you know, in the ring and stuff, in the cage, whatever you want to call it. But Embattled, you guys, I enjoyed this because I felt like it was more of just a drama and like kind of as a fighter, kind of fighting off your own demons and stuff. Because Steven Dorff, he was just so stuck in, you know, wanting to be rich and famous and, you know, never lose kind of thing. And so he had that kind of just all in his mind. And, you know, he just was not a good father. He wasn't a good husband, and stuff. And ultimately, at the end, he actually, his son, his oldest son, kind of starts to remember things from the past that he had ultimately just kind of, you know, drew a blank about and stuff. And so he started to remember. And so he ends up going against his dad. And let me tell you, that was something very brutal and very kind of like heartbreaking, to be honest. But Steven Dorff, he was awesome in here. The kid that played his son was also really good in here. Let's see who else is in here. I forgot who the heck plays the mom. Oh my goodness. I forget who plays the mom in here, but she's a familiar face as well. But this was really good. Like I said, it's more of a drama though, but I do recommend this one, especially just for Steven Dorff's performance. Like I said, he was really good, but his character is just so freaking, you hate him. He's just so freaking mean in this. But Embattled, I really enjoyed this one. All right, next one up is Equal Standard. Ice-T, he's in here for like maybe a few tiny scenes. He plays like I guess a leader, I think of the Crips or something. But anywho, Equal Standard, this is kind of one of those racial tension type films. But to be honest, I really didn't feel very impacted by this film. Like, you know, there's certain films out there where the racial tension is like spot on and you're definitely feeling it. It makes you mad, it makes you sad, it gets you just, you know, bubbling and stuff. But for some reason, I don't know, this film just was not what I was expecting it to be. Basically, you have this police officer. He ends up getting into this kind of altercation with another police officer, and it just has to do with the whole, you know, racial thing and whatnot. And then you have just, it kind of focuses on the like police brutality against African-American people in, you know, New York neighborhoods and stuff. And so it's, I don't know, it just kind of got a little weird because it was kind of going back and forth between like the main story that's kind of happening and then supposedly the Crips and the Bloods, you know, working together, you know, uniting. Like, it's not really like realistic kind of thing, you know? So I don't know, just this film was really lacking something for me. Like, I appreciate what they tried to do with this. And obviously it's a delicate topic, you know, at hand. But this one, I just did not have that impactfulness that I needed or was hoping for, to make this just a really, really, you know, good film. But otherwise, I mean, the main focus story in here, I enjoyed that part of it. I thought that, you know, your main guy right here, he was good and everything. I mean, there was some solid performances in here, but again, it just did not have what I was looking for. All right, next up is this film, Arizona, Danny McBride. I am honestly not a fan of his. I do not find him funny at all, you guys. I don't know what it is about him, but I actually really enjoyed this one. This one was kind of a nice surprise. I didn't really expect much going in. I was like, okay, this is probably hella freaking dumb. And don't get me wrong, it was dumb, you guys. It was cheesy. It was dumb. It was fun, you guys. I honestly had a good time with this. It obviously takes place back when, you know, there was the whole crash, housing crisis in 2009. And so basically he's gonna lose his house or whatever. And so he ends up killing the person that, you know, sold him the house, kidnapping another one, and then it just kind of he just kind of like down spirals and stuff throughout the film, like little by little, and just a lot of things happen and whatnot. And I don't know, it's just one of those just dumb, cheesy, fun. Throw it on if you're just looking kind of for a good time. I really did, you guys. I did not expect to like this one as much as I did, but you know, it's definitely going to be staying in the collection because I do see myself watching this one again. But yeah, it's just kind of a little bit of a wild story, I guess you could say, with him. And oh my gosh, it's just Danny McBride, you guys. Definitely a fun one here for sure. So check it out if you haven't. I got this for a freaking $1 from Dollar Tree back in the day, and it's just been sitting there. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead, throw it in, watch it, thinking it was probably gonna leave the collection, and it's not, you guys. So Arizona, definitely check it out. All right, next up is The Last Kiss. So yeah, this, you guys, this was a big miss for me. Like, I didn't like anything about this film. Like, it wasn't even like a good like rom-com or anything. Basically, Zach Braff's character, he has his girlfriend. They're set to get married. They have a baby on the way, and then he meets this other girl, and so they kind of start talking. They really hit things off, and I guess he's a little, starts to get a little unsure about, what he wants and stuff, and so a little adventure happens, and then he finally, decides what it is that he wants, and so I don't know, it's just kind of that kind of story. But I don't know, it wasn't very, romance-like. It wasn't very, funny or anything like that. I was honestly bored watching this one, so this is a big no. All right, next up is Good People. So this was a pretty solid watch, I will say. James Franco, Kate Hudson, they were both really good in here. The husband and wife. Basically, they have this tenant who lives in their basement. They end up finding him dead, with a bunch of cash hidden away. And so obviously they're like, okay, well, nobody has, come to, take this cash or whatever. They're in a lot of debt. And so they decide to, use a little here, use a little there. And so with that comes the consequences and just the shady people that their, dead tenant was involved with and stuff. You have the detective who's kind of suspects, that they did take the cash, even though they said they, wasn't anything there or whatever. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's pretty solid watch. I mean, a little bit of a thrill to it, obviously, when the bad guys show up and stuff. But other than that, I mean, it's just kind of one of those films, not really anything new that we haven't seen before, but pretty solid performances. And it was a pretty solid watch. I don't know that I'd really watch it again, just because, like I said, it's not really anything new, but yeah, pretty solid. All right, so I did go ahead and check out Come and See. It's from Criterion Collections by number 1035. I'd heard a lot of good things on this film, you guys, and I'd heard it was actually quite disturbing. Did I find it disturbing? I mean, not really. Was it brutal at times? Sure. Was it messed up at times? Yes. But basically, you have, like, this film is from the eyes of this teenage kid. He joined the, what is it? The resistance, the Soviet resistance. This takes place in Belarus, however you pronounce it. And basically it's during the time like the Nazis taking over and stuff. So obviously it is. It's very heartbreaking for sure. Anything that takes place during that time is just total heartbreak, and just super just messed up. But I didn't find it like overly, disturbing. Disturbing would be like, torturous, like beyond, but it is, though. It was a really well done film. Like I said, it's from the eyes of this teenage boy, and just everything that he saw along the way, about like the people that he met along the way and stuff like that. But he lost his whole family. It was just very freaking sad. Like he went away, then he came back to his little town to find practically like the whole town just massacred, you guys. It was crazy. Very sad. He meets this young girl along the way too, and kind of befriends her. I guess you could say he kind of has a thing for her as well. But it's just, oh my goodness. Like, cinematography in here is absolutely amazing. I love the just whole like coloration of the film, because it really kind of sets the tone, sets the vibe for the film. That's for sure. This film is from 1985. It is 142 minutes, and obviously it is in Belarusian, however you pronounce it, yeah. So you gotta watch it with the subtitles, but this is a really good, just a heartbreaking film for sure. Like I said, it definitely has its brutal moments. It definitely is, messed up at times and whatnot. And just very heartbreaking to just see everything that he went through, and just his whole journey, like through the resistance, and then at the end kind of not even wanting to be part of it kind of thing. So Come and See, definitely recommend this one, but you probably will need your tissues for this, because I know I definitely got a little, teary-eyed here and there, and you just kind of want to be like in the kind of right mood, because it is one of those kind of a little bit of a downer flicks. So you probably want a little pick me up afterwards. But come and see. Very, very good. All right, next up we have a Safe Haven. So I was curious about this one. I'd had this in the back of my mind. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw it on, give it a watch, and I really enjoyed this one. This is basically, I guess you could say, kind of like Julia Roberts Sleeping with the Enemy, because you have this woman. She is in this kind of abusive relationship, and so she finally decides to get out. She changes her appearance a little bit, skips town and, lands somewhere, ends up kind of finding love and everything along the way. And, it's basically kind of that. So, but yeah, no, Josh Duhamel and Julianne Howe, they have some freaking just awesome chemistry in here. The two of them together were so cute. I really did enjoy both of them and stuff. So, I mean, it's a great little kind of, love story and stuff. And, both of their performances were really, really good. I really enjoyed both of them a lot. Of course, you have the two little kids in here. They were really cute as well. They were good. So yeah, and I really like the whole storyline of it and everything. I said it's basically Sleeping with the Enemy. Just, kind of more newer version, I guess you could say. There's a little tiny twist in here that I actually did not expect. I was a little surprised at that. And I was perfectly fine watching this and stuff. I mean, it definitely had me, smiling cheek to cheek. And then towards the end, she receives this letter and I was just freaking ugly crying after that. So really good, but definitely there may be some moments in here where you need your tissues. So just a fair warning. All right, so I finally did check out The Monkey. I get where the hype is coming from, you guys. I enjoyed it. It's definitely fun. It's cheesy. It's pretty gory. And just like the whole, okay, so some of the effects aren't really all that great because sometimes the blood doesn't even really look like blood. And, obviously like the body parts that get blown up and stuff, they look like plastic. But anywho, The Monkey, though, it's definitely fun. It's cheesy. If you just want to see, like, bodies getting blown up, there's definitely some really unique, fun deaths in this movie. So I appreciate that. I don't know why, especially, like, the first one in the pawn shop. That was kind of cool, I will admit. So, but yeah, The Monkey, he's creepy, that's for sure. Every time he, like, starts to play and everything, and I don't know. Anywho, the boys in here when they're young, that's fine. And then, when the older ones, they grew up and stuff, and it turns into this weird little, I guess, revenge type film. So I don't know, kind of interesting. But overall, I thought it was good. Elijah Wood, his character, why? That was just terrible, man. And then who the heck, the main dude is Theo James. I'm gonna say Thomas James. It's Theo James. His character too in here was a little interesting. Obviously he plays the twin brothers as they're older and stuff, but I don't know. Just seemed kind of a little bit of a different role for him. Not exactly the greatest, but anywho, I had a lot of fun with this one. I'm sure most people did. But if you're just looking for a good time, just laugh a little bit, and see some really fun kills and stuff, some cheesy gore, this is definitely your film. So stay away from The Monkey. All right, we have A Graveyard Alive. So this film, you guys, I'd heard good things on this one, and I don't know a single good thing about this film. I was so close to shutting this freaking film off because it was just so freaking bad. It sucked. It truly sucked, you guys. Like, I was so flipping bored with this. It's not even a good zombie flick. It is in black and white, you guys, but my goodness, the acting is just so freaking terrible. It was so bad. Even just the storyline, you have this nurse, she gets bitten by a zombie, and then she is trying to win back her, love or whatever, who is like the main doctor there at the hospital, because most of this takes place at the hospital and stuff, and it's just dumb things start happening. The way they talk in this film, and they just, all the characters sound so stupid, and yeah, there was just nothing good. There's not even like good gore. The effects in here are super cheesy. And obviously she bites, the doctor, and then everybody else in the hospital too somehow becomes like infected, because she also bit this other dude. And so it was so bad, you guys. I kid you not, I was about to shut this off. I don't even know how I made it through. I barely made it through, you guys. But this definitely will not be staying in the collection. I say stay far away from this because it is absolutely terrible. All right, so Ani Lee's Meat Pies. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. This is one of those films. It's so bad, it's good. I actually enjoy this one a lot more than I thought I would. This one too is one of those I just expected like pure garbage, which I'm sure many people think that this film is just absolute trash. But I had fun with this. You basically have Ani Lee. She makes these famous meat pies, and with her lives like 4 of her nieces, and obviously they're all kind of, sexy and, lure men in and stuff so that they can basically kill them and, grind them up, whatever, chop them up, put them in these meat pies and stuff, which is why they're so famous. But that's basically what this film is. Got the nieces, they lure in the men, they kill them, and their history. So, I mean, the acting isn't great at all by any means, but I mean, there's some nice faces to look at. I mean, you have these like even rocker guys who kind of, make the film a little bit better, if you will. So, pretty faces, some cheesy gore. Some actually kind of solid fun kills and stuff in here, but definitely cheesy for sure. But yeah, I had fun with this one, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I didn't think it was pure trash, like I guess some people do, but hey, Ani Lee's Meat Pies, I would definitely watch it again. I mean, it's not one that I'm gonna watch like, consistently, but maybe every so often I'll definitely, pop it in and, watch it. But yeah, Ani Lee's Meat Pies, I definitely thought it was fun. All right, next up, Spare Parts. So this film, it was definitely solid. I had a fun time with this, but it's honestly one that it was kind of a one and done for me. Basically, you have these group of girls, they're in this like rock band, and they get kidnapped, and they are taken to this, I guess like a junkyard or whatever. And when they wake up, they have like different things attached to their arms, so they're missing an arm. And so they have like a machete, a chainsaw, stuff like that attached to their arm and stuff. And basically they have to, it's one of those like, fight or die kind of thing. You need to fight to be able to get out, to gain your freedom and stuff like that. I mean, there's some pretty good gore in this. I think it's a fun concept, but I feel like maybe they could have done a little bit more with it. But it's definitely a unique concept and not really something that we've seen. But yeah, overall, I mean, the whole little like fight sequences and stuff like that are, they're fun. Like I said, there's some pretty good gore in here. But you have the group of girls, they go up against, other fighters, other girls, other dudes and stuff. And so basically trying to fight their way out, make it another day, to potentially, gain their freedom and whatnot. So, I mean, like I said, it was pretty solid, but it's not really something that I need to really watch again. It was an okay one and done. All right, so next one here is Cry Wolf. This one too is just kind of a one and done for me. It's one that, I feel like once you know the story and once you know like the twist and everything, like it's not really going to be a fun rewatch. It's one of those kind of films, in my opinion. Anywho, you have it takes place on this college campus. You have this murder that recently happened nearby of this girl. And so basically you have these group of college students, they get together, they meet up, and they do it's like a game where it's like, cry wolf, like kind of who did it type thing. And so they have to guess and whatnot. And so they decide to create this hoax of this killer and just kind of what this killer looks like and stuff. And like the whole school starts to believe it. And they start supposedly these kind of like series of murders and stuff like that, and it's a kind of whodunit type thing, and it definitely does leave you guessing, you guys. It really, really does, because you're at first, okay, well, I think it's this person, okay, maybe it's not, maybe it's this person, okay, maybe it's not. So it definitely leaves you guessing for sure. I was still kind of unsure at the end, and then when it was like, it was kind of revealed, like, oh, okay. But anywho, like I said, it's just one of those, like, once you find out the twist, who the killer is, all of that, like, it's just, I don't know how highly rewatchable it is. But it was pretty solid for what it is. I like the concept of it and everything, but overall, I mean, it was pretty good, but just not one that I see myself rewatching. All right, so I'd heard a lot of good things on Audition, and I have to say, you guys, I was a little disappointed by this one. I'd heard that this film was just absolutely disturbing, and while there's like a few messed up parts in here, I just did not find it overly disturbing. Like, I guess in a sense, it's more like a psychological disturbing, if you will, like psychologically disturbing, because this girl, you can tell that she definitely like went through a lot, and I think it just really messed her up. And so her way, I guess, of coping with things is like torturing other people. But basically, you have this guy, he's like a recent widow, and so he holds this audition to find a potential like girlfriend, future wife kind of thing or whatever. So she auditions, and he already kind of knew ahead of time, because he was going through like the little packet of information on all the girls that were auditioning. He kind of already had picked her out, and when she went to the audition, he was even like more mesmerized by her or whatever. And she looks kind of like the kind of shy, silent type, or that's how she comes off anyways. There was one scene in here where she's just like sitting on the floor, and this like just creepy ass smile came on her face, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I don't know, but anywho, so she kind of slowly starts telling him about her life and everything, and you can tell that she's gone through some pretty messed up things. So I think like I said, she's just psychologically disturbed. And so I guess her way again of getting or kind of coping with everything is torturing, and so she ends up torturing this poor guy. She kind of like disappeared, and then all of a sudden she shows up at his home and basically just tortures him there. And it wasn't even like crazy torture. There was a thing with like the needles and stuff that like every time she made this weird little sound or said this little word that she was like, I guess in English it meant deeper, because this is in, what language is this? 115 minutes. Let's see. It's in Japanese. But yeah, so every time she said the word though, deeper, like it just really kind of got you kind of going a little bit there, but it was a little creepy. But it wasn't too like overly, like I said, disturbing or anything like that. Like I expected like just some crazy torture throughout the film, but it wasn't until like that last maybe like half hour, 20 minutes of the film that is when things kind of started to pick up. So I mean, it's one of those stories that just kind of works its way a little bit, but there's nothing really interesting that really happens. I mean, you learn about her and kind of a few of the things that she went through some like flashbacks like here and there. But again, the whole just kind of torture didn't really start until like literally at the end of the movie. So this one was kind of a letdown, I will say. I don't think I would watch this one again. So I'm kind of glad that I got this on DVD and didn't do the upgrade or anything yet. Because yeah, I don't think I'd watch it again. But it was a really like well done film. It just was not what I was expecting. All right, Bailey's Billions, you guys. So I watched this with my youngest. Oh my gosh, you guys, this movie is so freaking bad. I was like, okay, I think we're probably gonna get rid of this one because I didn't enjoy it. She's like, no, I want to keep it. So she enjoyed it, I guess. But Bailey's Billions, you basically have this dog who is left this fortune. It's a talking dog, but only this guy right here can understand him. Nobody else can. And so they rely on, everything that this dog supposedly tells him and stuff. But his owner ended up dying. She's this like rich lady or whatever, left them the house and her company and all of that. But this guy right here is the nephew. So Tim Curry plays the nephew of the owner who died, and then Jennifer Tilly plays his wife. And so they were so bad in here, you guys, so bad. Oh my gosh. As much as I love Tim Curry, he was so bad in here. Oh my gosh. And Jennifer Tilly was even worse. Like, probably her worst freaking performance yet, you guys. Seriously. But they are after the money. They want the money. They thought that they were going to be left the money, and now it gets left to the dog. So, I mean, they kind of come up with this plan to kidnap the dog, supposedly, and they have this whole, like, puppy ring thing going on underground sort of thing, trying to, like, make money, like, they embezzle money and all that kind of thing. So, I don't know. Yeah, it was bad, you guys. It was so bad. None of the acting was really good in here. I mean, I take that back. So this lady, she works at the company. So they're kind of running the company a little bit, at least like the underground stuff that nobody knows about. And so she kind of works in the front at the desk. And then these two meet, and then they kind of have a thing going on or whatever. But I mean, these two, they were actually pretty solid. Their performances are pretty solid. So but Tim Curry and Jennifer Tilly, oh my gosh, I just couldn't with them in this. But it was bad. Like, even just a talking dog, like that aspect too, it was so bad. It just did not look good, you guys. But anywho, I mean, I guess fun concept, but for me, I don't think I would watch this. So I'll see if my daughter will actually watch this again. If not, it will probably leave the collection. All right, we got a couple more to go. So I did check out this film, The Long Shot. It is inspired by a true story, and obviously a horse movie. So we have horses. My daughter wanted to watch this and stuff, and it's actually one of the newer ones that I added into the collection. But this was actually a really, really inspirational film. Really, really good. You have this mom and her daughter. They move to this one lady's farm. She's like well known in the like horse community and stuff. And so she literally ends up working for her. Like, they live in this little, I don't know what you want to call it, just like a little cabin, little house, and not even a house because there's no kitchen, there's no toilet, nothing like that in there. But she's just like flat out broke, and she needs, to make money to, get her and her daughter by, because the husband, like the dad figure, he was just, he's a douche. And they moved supposedly, cross states and stuff, for a job, and then it ended up not working out. And so the dad ended up taking whatever money they had and just abandoning the mom and the daughter. And so that's how they ended up, working for this lady and stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of like really nice horses in here and everything. And this basically has to do with the mom who, I don't know, there's a lot of drama in this. I will say that. So there's a lot of drama because the mom doesn't necessarily have a good relationship with her own mother, just because I guess like she's coping with like the death of her sister, and I guess the sister was always kind of the favorite or whatever. But this film, it's pronounced really weird, dressage or something like that. Something about like the way like a horse like walks and stuff, and like its stance and all of that. So I'm not too familiar with that kind of aspect, but it has to do kind of with that and that sort of like competition. And how she goes and she has this like beloved horse who actually, this horse ends up going blind, and I guess the husband comes back into the picture, kind of tries to sabotage everything, and ends up that the horse she ends up using in the final competition is her blind horse, which is freaking amazing, you guys. So I don't know how true this is, because if that is true, like a blind horse doing this competition, like, wow, that's amazing. But it was a very inspirational film. Like I said, a lot of drama in here. There's definitely some moments where I got teary-eyed, and I enjoyed this one for sure. So The Long Shot, good one. And last but not least, we have The Little Vampire. I thought I'd seen this. It looked a little familiar, especially like the very ending. Even how he was like, we've seen this before. I was like, I don't remember seeing this. But it's a cute movie. I mean, come on, Jonathan Lipnicki, he's adorable in here. Befriends this little vampire, helps the family, get this little crystal thingy or whatever, so that they can basically, be free from, living on, ground and stuff like that. Super cute little movie, just, great little friendship between, the two boys and everything. Cute story. So, I mean, what's not to like about this film? It's a great little family flick. Vampires aren't too scary or anything like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it for sure. So, that is it, you guys. Let me know if you have seen any of these films and your thoughts on them. I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.